What's up, everybody? We back with another message, another video. A little something different today, than what we are used to. So today's video, I kind of just want to talk to y'all about how I got to where I am today. Because a lot of y'all don't know me. It's been 3 weeks, and it don't feel like 3 weeks. Man, the Lord has been leading me to do so many assignments. It's not even funny. I done did about 11, about 10 this week. I'm tired. I'm pretty tired. But, I love it at the end of the day, what he has me do. I'll never take it back for anything else. All right. So what I want to talk about here today, I'm going to start off by kind of telling y'all something personal that a lot of people don't know about me. I've told no one about this. The only person that knows this is God, you know, Jesus, and then my household. I'm my only child. Uh, So basically, when it comes to alcohol, y'all, it becomes a demonic opening. It opens a door for the devil to use people. Okay, and I kind of want to talk about how that the devil tried to attack me through those type of demonic strongholds. Not that I was the one doing it, but through other people. Okay. And again, before we get started, thank you to all my new subscribers and future new subscribers. I appreciate y'all and thank y'all very, very much. So thank you. Um, you know, God gonna get the honor and the glory no matter what. So just what we do here. so yeah, so we just gonna get right into it. The Lord got me doing things that I have to get comfortable talking about. So okay. So to put it in a more short form, the devil would try to use intoxication through family, like my mom or my dad, um, to hurt me in an indirect way. Like we would go to gatherings or we would go just anywhere, and a couple of drinks, whatnot, and I noticed people become something they're not, and my parents would begin to get into it, and it would turn into legit fights. And this wouldn't happen all the time. I love my mother and my father, I have a great relationship, but the devil was trying to use them and it would turn into legit fights. I was very young when this happened, and that became a trigger for me. Um, every time I would see somebody that one cup, I said, "Oh, here we go." I already know we go home, and it not every time, but when it's completely gone, when they didn't have too much, but that became a trigger for me, and I will never forget that on my birthday. I was about 16, maybe 17, 18. I was definitely late teens. Um, there was a situation almost unfolding. It got better as I got older, and it was very like every so often. It was not a lot. Okay. So, my dad had ended up leaving every time something would go down. He said, I'm going to leave because I don't want things to escalate if it comes to that, in those situations. And my mom, she was very provoking. And when you argue, there's a demon for that. And it comes out to, it feeds off of that, okay? So when it comes down to it, my dad left and my mom was getting ready to leave. And normally, when you don't let your family go out like that, my dad was more okay than my mom, but the devil was really working on my mom and emotions. And but I was so upset by it. It was on my birthday, and I said, "This is just ridiculous." I got mad at both, and they both were kind of gone in a moment. And I said, my mom didn't fully leave. I don't know what she was doing, but I said, "Just go." And I said, "I hope that y'all don't come back." I was so angry because of what had been happening to me, and I just felt like I don't deserve to have to deal with this. But then immediately after I said that, I went into my room and I just remembered praying to God, and I said, "I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. I didn't mean it." And he understood. He understood what I was going through in that moment and what that did to me. He knew it was the demonic attack, but the enemy, had a field day seeing how hurt I was by it. And he had his little attacks on me indirectly. There was also another moment too where that wasn't just the only time, but that got better as time went by. But then, in my late teenage years, my mom was going through a lot of different stuff. Um, people do things to try to take away the pain temporarily. So my mom, would drink, and then it got to a point where it became more directed towards me, the attacks, and I couldn't understand. I'm like, why are you talking to me like that? Why are you being like this with me? And it was just the devil attacking me in my teenage years, you know. And when I had got my license, I would leave because I just wouldn't deal with it. I say no, I'm gonna come back later. And I remember going out for this drive, and it was blowing up my phone. I ain't answered, but I finally answered. I said, I'll be back in a little bit. Your parents be worried about you, but it's he tried to attack me through other people with intoxication. Now, there was a couple of other moments, not where the enemy tried to use a random person. Like, this dude was high, he was intoxicated, you could tell. And he was walking down the street. I was at my aunt's house. This is when I first got my license around after I graduated. And yeah, because that's when that other moment happened. Excuse me. So basically, this man was walking and he kind of looked like he focused and targeted in on me once he saw me, like he was possessed. I kid y'all not. And like he target acquired type deal. Like that was creepy. And then he kind of slowly started walking towards me. He was possessed. And that demon was gonna try to hurt me. And I thought to myself, at the time I didn't know it was a demon. I didn't know what was going on. Ooh, I'm sorry. I didn't know what was going on. But my first cousin came out and was like, "What's going on with this dude?" And then the man walked away. There was demonic attacks on me when I was younger through other people. He tried, but God said no. And there was another moment when I was with my first cousin. I had a family full of cousins that married, um, and I had their children with all my second cousins. So my first cousin, he would be intoxicated. He got into a fight with a lot of family members. My dad, I'll never forget, my dad picked me up when I was younger and they got into a fight, and he ran down the stairs and took me home because, I was with him, so he was trying to get me home. That was another one. And then that's the same night my parents got into it. So the devil was working overtime. And one thing that, when it comes down to it, with the first cousin, he was driving me and my younger cousins home, and he was going about 80, 90 on the highway intoxicated. We could have died. And my cousins were like clinging on to each other. And my first cousin, the devil will take advantage of your traumas and lead you to things that open the door for his attacks. So that's really what the deal was with him, and I felt kind of bad for him. But a lot of stuff happened with my secondary cousins because of what the first cousin, went through. But God was with me through every attack, every little thing that went on. Um, so for a while, I began to look down upon people that would drink. Like I would get annoyed. I wouldn't say necessarily look down, but I looked down upon the action. Um, and when they would drink, I just didn't want to talk to people. I'd be like, "No, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me." Um, when you sober, you can have a conversation. It was so much of a trigger that I didn't want nothing to do with people. It was different, but I broke it. God was always with me. I never found the appeal to drinking and getting high. About the highs I've ever gotten was when I got my wisdom teeth pulled out, and that don't count because procedure. But I never found the appeal in normal things other people found the appeal in. So another piece of my journey. Sorry, this is broken up into different parts, y'all. um, Basically, I want to explain to y'all the UPS side of things. I used to work at UPS, in the warehouse. I was a handler, package handler. I was a sorter. I became a lot of things. Um, So let's take you on my journey on how I went from being that and going to college to becoming a messenger. uh, woo! It's gonna be a good one. So you know, as soon as I came into the job, I was 21, and I wasn't used to all that physical work and stuff. I had been going to college most of my years, and at the beginning of my phase there, or my what is they call it, the new hire phase, I people would always ask me, "You coming back, right? You coming back? You ain't gonna quit, right?" So, a lot of people, I would never forget, people were underestimating me because I was small, man, like smaller than the rest of the people, and I ended up being that to being one everybody wanted me in their area. I mean, I got underestimated, and when I tell you I love being underestimated, I will prove people wrong so fast about me. I push myself, and I think that's one reason, one trait God was trying to show me about myself before He chose me as a messenger. That I won't I will push myself to not too much, but I'll push myself because I know how much I can do. I know I can do it. And sometimes when I came up with my own little workout thing, but we're gonna get to that after. Anyway, um, when it came down to the UPS thing, after years of being there, it got pretty bad because the area used to be very good that I was in. We worked as a team. After a while, we got people that got lazy, didn't want to do nothing, walked out of the job and still had their job, messed up truck quality on purpose, like, the building quality of the boxes, like Tetris. um, but yes, right before the pandemic, that stuff began to happen. And I always felt like I asked myself, why am I always somebody? And it was me and a couple other people, and I'm friends with a good chunk of the people I worked with back then. With them, a couple of months ago, I'm saying back then, but I I would always be in a situation where I had to be the one to clean up after other people, or one of the people I was holding the area together. Like, I had so much that I did. I would get my part clean, and people would screw up, and then we would have to go and clean their part up. And I got so tired of it. And I got to the point where one day my supervisor, who was my good friend, he sent me to go help people clean up what is called missorts, when people send things to the wrong places. That place was so unorganized and a mess. I don't miss it. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, God. Forgive me, God. I love you. Because I'm glad I'll do this over this any other day. I'll do this over that any day. Um, but, but, when it came down to it, one day I just got so angry and I said, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. How can people walk up to me and say hello and act like they care about me, but leave me to do this work? I had classes. I'll get up at 6 in the morning. I did great in school too. I, I don't even know how I was doing it, especially during the pandemic. I got straight A's, y'all, while dealing with all this. It just, when I think back at it, I said I dealt with so much, and now I am where I am, but I was able to do it. So yeah, I had the mindset. I said, I hate these people. They don't care about nobody but themselves. I hate these people. So I had another moment where I was like, I hate these people. But then a week or two later, I said, you know what? I'm not like that. I didn't come up like that. I'm not hateful. Okay, I'm not hateful. I just can't be this way. You know, I never really held grudges. And if I didn't like somebody, I mind my own business and stayed clear. So when it comes down to it, I did get over that, but I said I would rather be dependable and responsible and be looked at in a higher light than be looked at same as the other person. So I was like, okay, let me just be glad that's how I care that much. And so then, we always get that manager around the pandemic time. I was training people with one of my other friends. We went through so much together, y'all. Wow, the stories. Um, and when it came down to it, I was doing 4 and 5 trucks, training people, bouncing around with people of all ages. But I love training people. I mean, it was like you would see one person complaining about one little smeezy truck, and I'm over here doing 4 or 5. Whoo, boy, these generations are something else. But I was doing 4 and 5. It was my normal. And then I would go when the supervisor was stressing out. I'd go and try to help him. Essentially, I was a supervisor without pay. One of them, you know. And they asked me to be a supervisor, and I said nope because I see how unhappy these people are. I'd rather have my freedom for my classes, for me. I'd rather be happy. That scared me. Ooh wee, ooh 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 wee. I'd rather be free, happy over choosing money and no time for myself and being a work slave. Like, Nick, nobody. And I've never really valued money over my life, over my happiness. I think that's one thing I can say about myself that I've always had. But when it comes down to it, um, yes, I had a lot of responsibilities. Then cleaning up after people being at the wrong place at the wrong time. People call your whole area lazy and you not lazy, and it's just like, dude, come on now. You got people working their butt off. I would do a truck met for 2 people, and that's when his manager came in. This lady, um, she I heard from another supervisor, she called me like a squirrel because so we got these things called rollers we put in the truck. And there's a thing called egress where the uh, boxes fall on the ground. So you got to pick them up, All right. So basically, I'm getting destroyed this one day, and I'm tired because I've been working my butt off. My body hurt, and as time went on, I started to feel like myself no more. And she had the nerve to every chance she got, it seemed like she was trying to put me down. Like I said, okay, all right, cool. She don't know me. She don't know me. Woo, boy, she didn't know me. She didn't know me. I asked my friend, my supervisor, I said, let me do this truck by myself today. I got specials. Boy, them walls was Tetris lined up tight, good, floor clean, everything. Bulk. We had to do bulk. She walked past, like she acted like she didn't want to walk past. Number one. Number two, she looked in and ain't had nothing to say. I said, that's right, because you tried the wrong one today. And then a month later, she goes, you know, because I had suffered a couple of minor, very minor injuries because stupid stuff was happening. Like, and she was like, we really need you. As I was training people, I respect what you're doing, and I need you to be that leader for the newer people. I'm like, doing you just talking trash about me? You see how the tides just turn? And then as time went on a little bit after that, she said, you are all right. I said, I know. No, I'm playing. I ain't say that. But it just kind of took me off guard, and I was like, all right, well, I mean, don't underestimate me type deal. Don't do that to people. But, I dealt with a lot. And this one guy, I swear his name, he was a big dude. He looked like The Rock. He told me, he said, I don't know how y'all do this. And he was a big dude. It reminded me of David and Goliath. And, people would say, I know big dudes that can't even keep up with this stuff how you do. And it reminded me of David and Goliath after I became more in tune with the Bible with God. Like I thought, dang, my story do sound kind of like David, just being smaller and going up and doing the things that people thought were impossible. It's like, there's no way you did all this by yourself. Yes, I did, through the grace of God. Yes, I did, boy. Don't play with me. I went through a lot, and here I was getting ready to quit, and this is where I caught the team. So, um, 2020, I would never forget, all the classes shut down and everything. It became online. Oh boy, that was a transition because I was always an in class type of person, but I did good, thank God. Um, so when it came down to it, we were the only people working during that pandemic, and they weren't giving us no hazard pay. People at home was making more than we was making. Real talk. So when it came down to it, you know, we would joke about getting 2 weeks off. They had a rumor going around. No, they weren't about to do that. But basically, I was getting ready to quit one day because it was so bad. I remember being at the door. I was ready to put all my cards that associated with that job on that little clock out table, and I was at the door. And some told me, no, not like this. You're not like this. Don't give up. Not yet. Don't give up at all, but it ain't time for you to go yet. I turned around and went back. And then, not even like a week later, that same week actually, I had caught the team. And God did it to make me be still because it wasn't time for me to move out. Because I had to get my wisdom teeth removed that year. So, was it that year? It wasn't 2020. I'm sorry, it was 2021. I'm tripping. Tripping. Um, I didn't catch it until like after a year later. That's what it was. I'm sorry. So, um, when I had caught it, I got 3 weeks off. God was trying to make me be still because if I would have quit, I had great insurance. I wouldn't have got the wisdom teeth stuff done. Like it would have just been out of pocket. I didn't my feelings how I felt and being tired of it would have moved me out of position for what God was trying to do. And it's crazy because I had to get my wisdom teeth removed. They was growing in the wrong way, and it was causing like a cavity on this side, like all the way in the back. And it's like on the side you can't even see. It was on the side, so everything worked out, and I had to wait 7 months to get the wisdom teeth pulled out because of the team. By the grace of God, it nothing, you know, got bad. I'm big on my hygiene, so I'm not surprised that didn't happen. But God was good, and it worked out. And y'all, after I got the wisdom teeth removed, it was still a piece, and I had to go back again and get for like it was a 3 second thing. But oh my goodness, nothing is ever like normal with me. Oh, but when it came down to it, then I had to get the feeling, and then he was saying if it don't work, then we're gonna have to remove that one. Uh, Filled it. It was a hard feeling because it was on this side. He had to like my jaw was so sore because of how he had to pull to get it, and it was on the side, and everything worked out. And my dentist, oh my goodness, my Dr. Mark, my dentist he is a beautiful soul. He would crack me up. He'd be like, beautiful, like, cause he would look at my teeth, like beautiful, like, um, the only reason you even had this one is because those teeth was growing in wrong. But oh my god, he loved his job. He is a great guy. Definitely somebody I was led to because he is awesome. But that's why it goes to show you, no matter what profession, God will always lead you to those beautiful souls. But yeah, I caught it again in 2022 before the summer because I was getting ready to quit again. But God said no. I was getting frustrated. So then when it got to the summer, and yeah, then now we at our messenger point. Okay, so with this messenger part, y'all, I'm breaking it up into different parts because I'm trying to be, I gotta make sure I get all the stories all down and get them into parts. You get me? You feel me? Uh, so how I became a messenger, and I already told you about the whole thing with the hospital and stuff like that, but I'm gonna get into my messenger part. So, I asked the Lord questions before I could hear his voice, and he loved questions. Every time I talk about Jesus, I always feel the Holy Spirit. Y'all ever feel the Holy Spirit creep up on you and then boom, it gets you and you gotta sit there for a minute? He gonna do it. Every time I talk about him, he do it. Every time. Whew. I love him. I love him so much. Um, but then I heard, sit up, my child, and then I began to hear the Lord's voice after I asked questions. I had to fast. And this is the part where I'm going to tell y'all how, you know, it was Jesus and angels that gave me a deliverance of a demonic stronghold upon me. And out of everything I was going through, one day I was just praying. I said, Father, please get whatever is connected to me off of me and let it stop trying to implant thoughts. Let it stop trying to make me hateful. Let it just please. I need it off of me. I was praying. I fasted. I prayed. You got to fast and pray for some of this stuff. I prayed. And I will never forget this. It was early. This window right here, it was sun shining through it. And with the sun shining through it, I mean, it got brighter, y'all, as I'm praying. And I felt this warmth in my soul, like my heart at the time that I thought was my heart, you know. But it didn't hurt. It was like it was burning whatever was attached to me off of me. And I could do nothing but just kind of stand there like I, I was, I didn't know what was happening to me. But I felt whatever was attached to me was burnt off. It was beautiful. And the feelings that I felt were gone. It was angels. I would never forget that. That was one of the, I mean, I had so many moments. And then, you know, it's another moment where when God pulled me out of my job, uh, basically it was the last day, okay? And where I knew I didn't feel, first of all, God kept me in there. And I kept hearing, I was like, Father, I'm so done. I don't want to do this no more. And I was doing messages on top of that. I said, I'm over this. I'm done. And he was like, uh, you trust me, my child? I know. Just please hang on for me. Hang on for me. I was days I wanted to call in, but he's like, no, hang on for me. He was moving people out the way for me when it came to that job so I could have easier days. I'm not even playing. Every which way. So, you know, when it was time for me to go, I'll never forget I was in one of the closer parking lots and I saw a dragonfly go like this in front of my car, like tss, and at my window, and I'm like, I stopped my car. I said, "Whoa, hold up, wait a minute, what's going on?" uh, and it flew away, but that was a signal that, and it flew towards the road, the street, and it was just signaling to me that it's time to go. And I looked, and God knows I'm very open minded, so I looked up what a dragonfly meant, like if you come across a dragonfly in the spirit, and it was talking about maturity in the next stage of life, and you've grown, and you know, a new stage. And I said, okay, you know, that's just how I was. God knew that I would do stuff like that. He, yeah. So I'm going to the other parking lot on my last day, and there's this rain cloud. It's hot, and there's this rain cloud that then covers up the sun and is over me, and it's sprinkling a little bit. It's not raining to the left of me. It's not raining to the right of me or in front of me. It's just sprinkling on me. And you know what I hear? I say, what the heck? And I hear the Lord say, wherever you go, I will follow. I will be there with you no matter where you go. And I'm telling you, I was standing still looking up. People probably looking at me like I'm crazy because it was new hires waiting at the guard shack. They looking at me like I'm crazy. Like I'm looking up in the sky, looking at to see if you know how you look at the clouds move. It wasn't moving, not even slow. It just stood still. So everywhere I went, this rain cloud followed me. There was another instance where um, the Lord, I kid y'all not, thunder and lightning is a way that the Lord communicates if you can't hear his voice. I never forget, it was this person that had a demonic entity attached to them. I could tell how they was going about things. And the power line across the street, I heard like electricity. And I was like, what was that? My spirit, I said, that's a warning from the Lord. I was trying to figure out what this person was talking about. Next thing you know, the power went out on only our side of the street. No storm, no wind. Boy, God said, you better stop talking to that person. And my phone was like on 10%, so I ain't had no choice. But I knew it was the Lord. And then our power came back on like maybe an hour later. I'm telling y'all, he don't play. And I knew, and more so, I believed it was an angel like Michael, because Michael be trying to get me together. We close. I'm going to explain that in a minute. I am so connected to the heavenly family. I love them so much. When it comes down to uh, the thunder and lightning, tell me why God was directing me home. Like he told me, take this road home. So I'm sitting at a red light. I'm very close to home. Traffic. I see this cloud. It was supposed to be like a tornado warning, a heavy storm, severe storm. And I see this cloud going like this. And I said, wait, no. I've never been in a tornado before. No. Then God says, relax, my child. He says, Watch me make this cloud disperse. And this cloud went from going down to back up and separating. I can't make this up. I was like, and the Lord, and the Lord just like laughing. He's just laughing at my shock. It'd be so funny. His beautiful laugh. That it warms my heart. It made me want to meet him even like it made me want to meet Jesus in person even more. Just talking in through the spirit. Oh, I love him, man. Okay. See, every time I do that, I feel like it crept up on me. I feel like that Holy Spirit spiritual hug. So if I pause, excuse me, he know what he be doing. Every time I talk about him, he creep up on me. I feel it. It's like that look. I love you too. All right. You can never get used to that. I wish y'all know if you know, you know. You had to take a minute to adjust. But yeah, I watched that happen in that same day because I went to get my haircut that day. But that same day when I got home, I was looking at this squirrel and it was like looking at me and then look up, look at me, look up at the tree. And what the Lord was trying to express to me, because sometimes it can be demonic or it can be from God. The Lord was trying to express to me to look at the grass, the environment around me. The grass was dying, it was so hot. God grew it and restored it like it was restoring it with the storms. It was raining a lot. And the Lord, he said, safe haven where I lived. Because you remember when that snowstorm hit y'all, we was supposed to get 10 inches. We didn't get nothing where everybody else around us got it. And I always used to make a joke and say, dang, it's like everybody getting all these, ooh, don't do that. That scared me. It seemed like everybody used to get all these tornadoes and storms. I said, dang, it's like we in the middle of everything. Ain't nothing hit us. Man, God, it was God. Because you got to remember, some things are just straight up judgment. So, you know, I'm at home and hear this thunder and lightning. That's God could be talking. And he says the storm, and it was loud enough to get my attention. And he said, the storm is calling you. I go to the window, like outside of my room, and the wind is violently blowing. I got scared. I thought the power is gonna go out. I said, Father, he said, don't worry, it's not gonna go out. He said, just listen. I watered my creation, just like you need water. You know, I water my creation. Safe haven. And it was so beautiful. It's violent. It might have scared most people, but that was beautiful. It's moments like that. It's like I love telling y'all. It's like telling y'all about my dad, like my father, my cousins, my family. Uh, Also, I remember I was talking to Jesus about a message, and he, just like that Holy Spirit creep up on you. I was like, "Ooh, what was that?" And he laughed. He said, "My love for you." I said, "Dang, that's a lot of love." That's a lot of love. That was strong. Every time I talk about that, it's here, y'all. It's here. I feel it. I be feeling the Holy Spirit's presence when I talk about. He love when you talk. When you tell people about him, he come through. I gotta make sure I hold my phone straight. It's powerful. Like I can't make it up. It's a warmth. It's a hug. Oh my goodness. Whew. All right. What was I saying? Yes, but we were talking about a message, and um, basically, what ended up happening, I realized that I had enough money because at that point I got pulled out of my job. I realized I had enough money again to pay for everything. That money I forgot I had. And the Lord, I was in shock. I just go, and the Lord started laughing. He said, oh, his laugh is so beautiful. He started laughing. And because he laughed at putting me in shock. He laughs at like, when it comes to blowing our minds, I love it. But he was, and I mean, he laughed like it was so funny. He laughed hysterically in the most playful and beautiful way at my shock. And I'm just like, you are something else. You would do that. Like, I'm just in shock, and he been taking care of me ever since. Woo! I love him. Also, one thing I would also like to do is thank him, the angels, and God, because I have to. Even though our dreams are serious, even though what we do is very serious, I have to I have to thank him because it was a dream that I had that involved food shortages, wars, and invasions, and I have to thank him because it'd be so cool sometimes. Y'all, I saw angels in that dream. Like the wings, they had the gold armor and they were all different. It was like human ones and ones that were different. And I believe I did see Michael. This is where I'm gonna talk about Michael. Um, and I was fighting this entity that was possessed and I was able to fly with the angels. But then, and they was helping me break free when he tried to grab me. It was so cool. And I had to thank the Lord. I said, thank you for just, this stuff is cool. Like, regardless of what the messages are, I have to take time to thank him. I said, like, just like with the Twitch thing, but we're going to get into that in a minute. Um, you know, uh, Basically, Michael, this is what happened. I have a video of me explaining Michael's test on me. But one thing that God revealed to me, because he appeared as a poor, like more so a man that it was in need. And, I was basically being tested to see if I would give foolishly or I would test the spirits with God to make sure this person was of him or of a good person. And I felt like a dad testing a child on their first day walking to school. But the Lord, and so I went to go get the money. I was gonna give him $100. He only asked for 17, and he disappeared. I couldn't find him, and the Lord said, "You pass." But one thing the Lord revealed to me about Michael, because Michael fought with me in a dream. Like in this dream, I, if you watch Stranger Things in season 4, y'all know that the thing Vecna, that's a real demon in hell because the devil. I don't know what that noise was. I'm sorry. The devil sent a demon after me, and I seen him twice. He did it 2 times in just a few seconds. He was too coward because he knew Michael was there, disguised as one of my good friends. So the demon was choking the life out of me. I beat the devil in my test and trial, so he was ticked off. But I always felt that presence where God was there, and I felt so many times where the devil was making his presence known, but God and his angels were there with me at the same time, kind of like Job situations. And Michael kicked his name, kicked what's his name, Vecna off of me, what they call it in Stranger Things. Then it came back out again. The devil sent him out again, and this fire had it was like a portal full of fire, y'all. And the devil was wearing all black glasses. I can never forget it. And he sent the demon after Michael, but this time I kicked the demon, and the same thing happened. I fought with Michael in a dream, and I defended. Even though he could defend himself, it was a test for me. And the Lord had told me after that moment, Michael wasn't too fond of you or wasn't too sure of you at first. He didn't know what to think of you, and then because the angels don't be knowing, they just follow God's command. And so when it comes down to it, the Lord said this. He said, but after that day, he became very fond of you. And trust me, man, I feel so close to him. I also asked the Lord, who be telling on me? I said, who angel be telling on me? Gabriel. Gabriel is what I heard in the spirit. They be having nicknames, y'all. I be calling them Gabe, Mikey. I'm not playing. Like, and they responded. They responded to it. Like, I remember I was talking to the Lord one time, and the angels was around, and I could hear them a little. Like, I'm telling you, I feel so close to them. They like my heavenly family. I can't. Oh my God, I love them so much. It's like me telling y'all about my other family in heaven. You know what I'm saying? I love it. But Michael was the one that came down to test me. The Lord said he wasn't supposed to come down and test you. I was gonna send another angel, but he wanted to meet you. He wanted to personally meet you after that dream. And because the person reached out to shake my hand and my energy levels went up. I explained that. And I'm going to leave that to that dream. I don't want to give y'all too much in this video. You know what I'm saying? But it was so cool. And it made me feel different. I said the fact that he wanted to come down and meet me after and shake my hand and make his presence known to me, you know, That made me feel very good because it shows how much they love us and they root for us. I feel so close to Michael. I feel so close to God and Jesus. I feel so close to them. I feel them. It's almost like we are connected together. I feel it. That's why in that last video when I told y'all I did call upon Michael, like I feel so close. I feel so close. And you know I always tell Michael, I call him Mikey. I always tell him, I said, Michael, I said, Mikey, you know, you better get ready. I tell him, you better get ready because we about to tear some stuff down. We're gonna have a tag team finishers. I always talk to him like that, like, you know, we gonna when the enemy come back, let's be ready to tear it down together. That I love them so much. And I never take this back. Ever. Um, I love them. All of them, you know. I feel the Holy Spirit just roaming through me. I love them so much and I want people to feel what I do. But that leads me to, let me not get off topic. Saying I can say how much I love him all day. I tell Jesus all the time, I say, when I see you and God, I see y'all better be ready for a bunch of hugs. I'm not playing. You gonna have to tell me to get off you. Yeah, I'll be serious. So he know I love him. Ooh, and he is present with me right now. What the heck? Is that my bro? I've never seen my screen glow. I've recorded before. I'm tripping. Maybe I'm just tripping. Um, I've never seen like the glow come off of when I record before like that. That's dope. That's pretty cool. That's like a cool little effect. Anyway, I may be tripping. But anyway, sorry. About how I started off being a messenger. So one thing, this is so cool. One thing that stood out to me is when God began to express to me, you don't know who you are. And that scared me. It genuinely scared me because I didn't know who I was until today. I feel so much confident. Thank you, Lord. I feel so much confident. I never felt not I never like felt not confident, but more confident in my position as a messenger. And one thing about it, he put me in a game where I was a content creator. I'm a content creator, and one thing that the Lord expressed to me is, He said, "I put you in this gaming world to tell content creators and warn them and of the distraction of the delusion, what's coming because they're too distracted." In the community I was part of, that game that I was a part of, I would give messages and warnings. One of the first messages he had me do was forgiving people. It was a person that really just had it out for me and would be envious of my friends. He tried to use me to hurt people, like by trying to take me away from people. He just had this mindset, and I could never understand why. But now I do. Spiritual warfare type deal. But God had me do a video letting them know. Sometimes you got to let the enemy know I see what you're doing, and confront that. And I did, because I was just ignoring at first and minding my business. I would have slight communication. But after like the person used my name and tried to hurt one of my friends by telling them your friend isn't here for you, it's not gonna come to save you, I said, "No, you're not gonna do that." Um Basically, God had me do this video, but I forgave them. By giving them a warning at the same time, I forgave them. And the second video that came to be after that, they basically was mocking me, laughing. If y'all saw the other, I think the testimony, how people was mocking me or something, trying to make a mockery out of God. And God had me do a warning video. And one thing God told me, tell them not to they're battling me, not you. And tell them, he says, you will always have my protection. And that's true. He says, and I said, should I leave my comments on or off? He said, leave them on because they're going to stand out like a sore thumb. People wouldn't dare truly disrespect my works because if they know who I am. And he stood true to that. He's always protected me from the devil's attacks. Y'all got to remember, I beat the devil. Can't no comment hurt my feelings if I can beat the devil. Straight up. So one video that I did was I had to tell one of my friends in the consecrated world that the devil had a trap to kill him. And God put me through his life experiences. He had blackouts, and he was at a tournament, and God put me in that scenario. I was watching him, but I could feel what he felt as he was blacking out in this room, and people was ignoring him. Like, it scared me, but I went through his life, like, and I had to give conviction. So how it came to be, somebody was hurt by him, and his channel had something happen to it, and the Lord um essentially took his channel, like something happened, why things happened to him the way that they happened to him. And I was somebody who had to give conviction. He was giving conviction through me, and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I said, God, can I message him? And he said no. So I had to do this because I had to deliver somebody from fear of burden, feeling holding on to that situation with him, but also um, I had to give him conviction while being kind at the same time, saying, it's okay. You have a redemption story. It was called Redemption Stories, and I gave this big message on the gaming world and the stuff that would happen in the gaming world that I did see, and also it was what happened. Oh yes, it was things he was talking about. He's coming for content creators that are doing corrupt things, and that's why I'm not monetized. One thing the Lord told me, that people get controlled by monetization and they do corrupt and wicked things. So I'm not monetized. I choose not to be because I don't, I'm not coming up in monetary value like that. Now, I'm not saying that people are monetized think that way. God may have led some people to do his work and get paid that way. Everybody's journey is different. But y'all know what I'm saying. There are people that do the wrong things. So when it comes down to it, um, he had me do this video, this long video, and my dad, it was points where I had to stop. I said, I don't want to do this no more. And then my dad called me, and God was speaking through my father, giving him a message. And I can play this piece for y'all. And there's also another piece I want to play for y'all too. God made his existence be known. Try not to dwell on it, and you try to move past it and say, I never do that again. That was a mistake. Yeah, and you ask God to. You ask God for your forgiveness. That's the easy part. And learns, and people are going to attack, man. And I don't care. People aren't gonna want to deal with me no more, and I don't care. But because you can't, just don't try to run away from something that's gonna try to help you and save your life potentially. Okay. And I just got a new subscriber. God, man, he's something else, bro. In my video, it was this thing at the end. So I was a streamer, so OBS I use. In OBS, I would randomly get notifications when I would not stream. It was very rare, but it happened. It only happened when I would stream. Um, and basically, what happened at the end of my video, or should I say his message, um, this thing said new subscriber, Marcus 7. And at the time, I was new. God was teaching me while giving me messages. And I was like, what? So basically, I had realized that it applied to the video Mark 7. Mark 7. It was spelled Markus, Marcus 7. And it was not a real subscriber. I was checking. I'm like, Marcus 7. Mark 7. Dude, God made his presence known to people. He told me I will always have your back. Because people wouldn't believe me. People would not believe it, looking at me like I'm crazy. And God made his presence known. And even after seeing something like that, people still wouldn't believe it. And it's sad. But he's always been there with me. Always. And he would help me through my journey. Well, I would never forget messaging Mark the Messenger. Mark the Messenger and many others like Marcus Rogers, I consider them to be big brothers for me in my beginning days. God, I would use their videos as reference for my videos. God would lead me to other people's videos for confirmation on top of what I had been sent by God. Okay. So when it came down to it, I messaged Mark the Messenger on his Patreon one day. I said, "Hey, the Lord has me in the gaming world as a messenger. I don't know. This is tough." And he said, "Yeah, man, that's tough. People in the gaming world hate the gospel, and people, man, it was rough. But God knew I could do it, and I did it. I might have felt like I wasn't doing nothing, but you know what happened? The one that I told you about, that God told me I had to give a message on to save his life. He lived. He lived, and you know what he did? I was his first in his new series of interviewing certain players. I was his first one, and he said to me, but right before the interview, he said, "I saw the video you made, and it was very insightful. I learned a lot." He says, "Whatever you feel lead and calling to do, do it." I have love for him. That's like a brother to me. After that, like I check up on him all the time. And hearing that just brought so much joy to my spirit, because I felt like I was asking God, is he gonna see it? And God said, "Don't worry, he gonna see it." That's why I told you not to message him. And that warmed my heart, because it showed me that I saved a life. It showed me that I helped God do something powerful. I can never forget that. And being the first person that he picked, even after, he could have been mad at me, but he picked me to be one of his first people to interview. I'll never forget that. When people accept what God is trying to show them, good things happen. And so that's why when I came to the whole Carrie Ann situation, what I was trying to explain to you, this is not the first time that I've had to do this on somebody that does YouTube. God just wants the best for us, and he will give us the time. He will put the effort to give us the second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth chances. Okay? That was an important mission to me, because I learned from my first one. And I just feel blessed. I would never take it back. And I will never forget the moment, and I said in my testimony, where the Lord was like, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" Before this channel even had following. And with the Twitch case, that's where I want to bring up the Twitch case. With the Twitch case, people was calling me crazy. "Oh, Ellen, we didn't hear from God. Oh, you ain't have a dream about Twitch." I seen Twitch in this very room, my body on my bed, Twitch in front of me. I can show y'all where it was. Right here. Can y'all see that? My bed, right here. I was standing, the lamp right here was Twitch. I was standing right here, and on the side of me over here was God. Right there in my room. I can't make this up. And I will never forget that. And now we seeing Ellen face judgment. People didn't believe me. They didn't believe me. But I was used to it. I was used to that. I got laughed at. I got scoffed at. I got mocked. But I was strong enough to handle it, because I beat the devil. So ain't no agent of the devil gonna beat me. You hear that? And just like Jesus, and you know what I was being told? The Lord told me, "You are a secret weapon. People ain't gonna see you coming." Just like Jesus, people was trying to figure out, was he a good or bad man? Doing things just out of nowhere. I came up out of nowhere. Didn't nobody know who I was. It's been 3 weeks since I had this following. I came up out the woodworks. Okay? I came up out of nowhere doing God's work. And people now have to figure out, I can't get over it like this. I don't know how this is like lighting up like this. This is like, my screen is here, but my screen is not lit up this bright. Do y'all see this? I swear I'm not tripping. Didn't believe me. And I, just like Jesus, I pulled up. And what I want to end this video off with, for those saying, "Oh, the agents trying to disprove, do whatever you got to do," I don't care. I beat the devil. I made it through all this to get here. I can do this. And I'm going to continue to do it. I'm not here to make people feel comfortable. I make people feel uncomfortable and get into their better self. I love y'all that much. If had I listened and not let go of people that I like and told God, no, 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 it's the devil because I like this person, he would never tell me. I wouldn't be here today. All right? Don't forget that. You have a second chance. And with the Mar Hamlin's case, it made me think. I could resonate. We seeing second chances and blessings. And if you got a problem with the message, they say don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't hate the messenger, take it up with God. Peace and blessings. And by the way, one thing you can't hide when working for the Lord is tired. Can't hide that. God's told you to be working hard and we be tired for the Lord, but we make it.